I love me some Rosamund Pike, but this just kind of seemed like a basic biopic that I've seen before. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Radioactive, a film that stars Rosamund Pike, and I'm a major fan of hers. And you know, when she dives into these biopics, these true to life characters, I'm always interested to see the performances she's able to give, and in general the story, and learn more about this type of part of history that I never knew before. And that's, again, what I just love about movies, is when it's able to do that in such a great way. And Radioactive, for the most part, it's a good, solid biopic. It's one that definitely feels a little bit Oscar baity at times, but it's one that it wasn't bad. It was good. I just wanted it to be great, and I think that's where I kind of get down to in this film, is that I do wish it was. Before we get any further, guys, if you guys are new here, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I do tons of early movie reviews like this over here on a daily basis. I love talking movies, and I want to talk them with you guys, so hit that like and subscribe button, comment down below, and let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for Radioactive? Are you not? Let's discuss it all down there. Radioactive is a true story of Marie Curie, who, as her Nobel Peace Prize winning work that changed the world. It stars, of course, Rosamund Pike, Sam Riley, and a lot of people consider her a pioneer, a rebel, and a genius. This is, again, someone that I've never heard about. She's the one who discovered radioactivity, what that does for medical industry, what that does for war, and the kind of elements that could do. You know, we don't think about, when we're trying to heal people, when we're trying to do stuff for medicine, what that can be taken and used for in other cases. And I think one of my favorite things about Radioactive was able to really dive into that, the pros and cons to figuring this out, to figuring out your experiments and how people can twist and turn them into their own lights. And this film, no spoilers of course, dives into that in a very heavy light, and so some of the biggest tragedies that have ever happened in our history, and I really loved how they were able to sway that in and edit that. And I think that element of this film is actually some of the strongest parts, alongside Rosamund Pike's performance, which is absolutely, bar none, great. She is one of the best actresses working today, and she is nonetheless great. And adding in Sam Riley, who plays her husband in here, also really good, and really their chemistry with one another, you truly believe in here. And I absolutely was just enamored by both their performances and wanting to see their struggles for what was going to happen in here. And again, going into a piece of history that I'd never heard about, never even learned about in any of my science classes, chemistry, history classes throughout all my educational life. I've never heard about any of these people, and finally being able to dive into here and learn more about it was quite impressive. What I really appreciate about these movies is when it's able to do that. And you know, while it's not in the most stylish manner, and it's kind of in a basic biopic mode, it still was informative and really, again, makes you look on different things when people are doing scientific discoveries. Of course, we are going through a very big pandemic right now. Many people are trying to look for a vaccine for everything that's going on right now, but who knows what that discovery could lead to down the road. There could be pros and cons to it, and that's what Radioactive also looks at too. And it's, in a sense, this is kind of a timely movie as well, even though this is a period piece. But one thing I do want to mention is the cinematography for this film is absolutely gorgeous. This is a gorgeous film to look at. I was absolutely, every single frame of this film was just jaw-dropping. There are certain ones that I was like, that's amazing. There's this one in particular between Rosamund Pike and Sam Riley where it's a bunch of dancing and it's a sequence. It is touching. It is elegant, and it is glowing. It is absolutely one of the best sequences I've seen in a biopic in quite a while, and I wish the rest of the basicness of this could have really brought it about. Most of my cons actually come to Radioactive due to the pacing and the writing of this film. Some of the writing of this film is a little bit cringy. Some of it's a little bit rushed. This seems like it would have been better as a miniseries, or maybe even an extended thing. A lot of stuff is montaged through. A lot of this is even touched about where I feel like more details were known, and it just feels like a basic biopic that doesn't get into the nitty-gritty of everything, but just the surface layer stuff. Again, those tragic events that I go about, they're surface layered. While it was really cool that they were touched on, I think there was elements that should have been edited and even planted in there just a bit better. And I really feel like the writing in here was kind of the biggest issue, and some of the parts of this film were just really dragged on. There was a part where something happens and I said, okay, so the film must be getting to an ending point, and we were only midway through the movie, and I kind of rolled my eyes and went, come on now. It just felt forever building up to that point, and I was just really kind of taken back by the pacing in this film and the writing, and I was expecting a little bit better kind of material in that part. Maybe that came down to the editing. Maybe some of the editing, they chopped out a lot. Maybe they decided to montage through stuff to get to a smaller runtime, but I do think this film could have even benefited from that extended one, because again, the pacing feels so lacking, because it's rushing through certain sequences and it just feels like forever, when certain things I feel like do needed more time to dive into. It's an informative film, but it's one that I think needed more time to marinate on certain subject manners. Before I give you my final thoughts on Radioactive, make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for this movie? Are you not? Let's discuss it all down there in the comment section, as well as hit that like and subscribe button once again so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis. Head on over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early, and of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Radioactive, again, is not a terrible movie. It's a good movie. It's a basic biopic that you've seen all the time before. Informative at moments, but also needed more time to marinate on some other moments as well. The performances are really good and outstanding here. Rosamund Pike especially is great. The cinematography is glowing and gorgeous and beautiful, and I just wish the rest of the film would have fit for that light. I think this is more of a story that should have been told over a miniseries type light. It's an interesting history, one that talks about the pros and cons of what radioactivity can really do, and the fact that the discovery of it and what it did for modern medicine is quite impressive, but also what it does for the rest of the world. It shows pros and cons to scientific discoveries, and I really appreciate that aspect, but again, I'm really diving into those because that's how my brain works and how I look into it, not because the film decided to dive into those, and I really wish it would have, again, marinated on some of those moments. So with all that said, I'm going to give Radioactive a C+. Thank you guys again so much for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all the best, and of course, until next time, stay classy.